This content is by no means intended for anyone under the age of 13. It is made for adult losers undergoing any sort of existential crisis. Midlives are accepted. Nobody under the age of 13 is allowed. If you are of such an age, I advise you to watch this with a parent or guardian, or kindly get lost. Also, this movie review is not 100% factual. I am merely giving you my unsolicited thoughts on this movie. If you're unable to comprehend that, then please put on your big boy or girl pants and make up your own damn opinions.
Hey there guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. This is a brand new review. We're going to be taking a look at the movie Just Mercy, directed by Daniel Destin Cretton. Let's get into it. Guys, this movie was everything I expected it to be and more. So I'm going to start off with my favorite thing about this movie, and that's the tone. They do a great thing about balancing the tone here. There's a lot of lighthearted moments here where the characters will just look at each other and just start laughing out of nowhere, and it fits with the overall story because sometimes it can get pretty heavy. You know, it's a story about a man who's being wrongly accused and prosecuted for a crime he did not commit, and this is sort of a second chance in life that he's being provided by the character of Michael B. Jordan plays. And what can I say except that there are some deep moments, and it never felt like the humor undercut that. The humor never came out of nowhere, and it never came out of left field like we didn't expect it. The humor was there to kind of balance out the table. You know, people will get disappointed. There will be some people who are disappointed about the humor because this is one of those films that could be taken a very Oscar heavy, you know, high caliber kind of movie. But I think the intention behind it was to tell a story that everybody could understand and everybody could get behind, so that they could spread the news about this character. And that's the best way you could have done it. You have to get us audiences to connect with this character and these characters and what's happening with them. And sometimes it might be a little tough to watch a deep, dramatic, you know, period piece or some sort of movie that doesn't necessarily have that kind of sting of humor in there. And what they did here was they added that humor just to balance it out a little bit, make it more relatable to the audience, just connect the audience a little bit before hammering them in with the actual truth of what happened here. Perfect. I mean, there's nothing more I could have asked for. It reminds me of the movie Green Book, and Green Book kind of had the same thing where it's a dark topic, a dark subject matter, but they had to infuse it with a lot of humor just to connect the audience a little bit, pull the audience in, and then once you've got that audience, then let them know what's going on and what's happening. And that's just, it's masterful. They did perfect work with it, and honestly guys, I might go see it again. This is a wonderful movie. Let me move on to my next positive before taking a look at my one negative. Alright, so my next positive with this actually has to do with the direction. The direction in this movie is just impeccable. I mean, this is some great direction by Destin Daniel Cretton. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm reading over here to my left. And I mean, there's a certain level of you know, maturity that has to come with a topic like this. You can't undermine what's going on to these characters. So what he does is there's a lot of visual storytelling. He doesn't have it kind of ties back to the script, but he doesn't have the characters explain how they're feeling. That doesn't happen here. What he does is he uses this visual technique of just focusing on their face while they hear bad news, or having them just emote when nothing's happening, nobody's talking, nothing's happening, just the camera's just focused on this person's face, and you can experience a ton of different emotions just passing through the face. You know, in a matter of seconds you'll see anger, guilt, surprise, you know, there'll be shock, and it works really great. And that's just a testament to how well the director handled the visual elements of the story, as well as the performance, which I'll get to next, which is one of my next positive. The performances are insanely great. I'm talking Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx, both of whom should receive Oscar nominations for Best Supporting Actors. I don't think neither of them are Best Actor specifically, because they don't have that much time in the movie. They're both kind of support. I would say Michael B. Jordan is more of a lead in this movie than Jamie Foxx. Even though Jamie Foxx is the better actor, I think Michael B. Jordan is the lead, so he has a chance of getting nominated for Best Actor, specifically Best Lead Actor. But I think if anyone has a chance to win an Oscar in this movie, it's Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx definitely has a chance to win the Best Supporting Actor nomination, because he is a he gives a wonderful performance in this movie. There's something about this level of held backness that he has, a man who's just been beat and beat and beat, so he doesn't care anymore. He want, maybe it's gonna work, maybe it doesn't work, he doesn't care. He just wants to see this justice system take accountability for what happened to him, and it's very obvious. So when I was talking about the direction, with the way the camera just holds on your face for a long time, it does, and it's an uncomfortably long time that an actor has to just, the camera's like 2 feet away from his face, and he just has to stay there and emote all these different feelings without anybody in the background talking, without any keys, nobody's walking around and punching anybody. It's just the camera's focused on your face, and it's quiet, and there's no music, and it gets deep. So yeah, I do think that these actors both are eligible for Oscars for their performances. If anybody is more eligible than the other, it would be Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx gives a great performance, probably one of the best of his career, maybe top 2 after Collateral. My one negative with this movie is actually in regards to, I'll call it the writing for now, because that's kind of where this problem originates, and that has to do with how they kind of sideline a lot of main topics. There's a lot of ideas they could have gone into: the justice system, specifically why this happened to this character, how this character deals with this, but a lot of this movie is just the legal minutia, rightly so, because that is the topic, but a lot of it just did not interest me. And I'm not saying it was boring, I'm just saying there were moments I was just like, yeah, I don't care about the legal stuff. Can we go back to the character who's suffering right now in jail, and tell me how he was living for the last few years that he's been in jail, what he was doing, how was he coping, what was he feeling in this moment. So they could have, they do touch on that a little bit, maybe less than a minute. They could have gone a little bit further into that, and I feel like they should have, because that would have been a more interesting movie. And I get it, they didn't want to make some sort of Oscar pandering kind of film that kind of, was Oscar bait, but I mean, what's wrong with Oscar bait? That would have been a more interesting story, and I would have much preferred that. Just Mercy it kind of undershoots its possibilities. It could have been a more, not a grander story, but a story with more weight, a story that kind of had a little bit more leading on it, a story that required a little bit more from its audience, but it kind of does spoon feed you all the information at times, and it could be a little bit less what's the right word, a little bit less graceful about its topic and tell you the harsh truth, which sometimes it does, and sometimes it just gives you the legal minutia, which I'm not into that kind of stuff. I like my stories to be character based, so that is my one problem, is the writing could have been a little bit more ambitious. Anyways guys, I appreciate you guys checking out the video, so just remember, it's awesome.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way.